We're going to talk about the remainder factor theorem here. Now, the remainder theorem states that if you divide p of x by ax minus b, then your remainder is p of b over a. What that simply means is this: if you want to find the remainder quickly, you instead of doing long division, you can just put in a rearranged form of it. So find the remainder when p of x blah 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 is divided by x minus 2. Don't use long division if you're just told to find the remainder. You just simply plug in your number in. Now, let's have a look at how this is rearranged. It says minus b, and then you put in a b. So in this case, it would be a 2. A, in this case, is a 1, so you just simply plug in p of 2. Now remember, p of 2 is a function, so wherever you see x, you're going to plug in a 2. So that's 2 cubed minus 3 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 plus 9. So then you have 8 minus 12 minus 4 plus 9. If you struggle working out the numbers, my suggestion is this: do all your additions first, and then do your subtractions separately. So that's 17 minus 16. If you have 2x plus 1, then again, check your rearranged form on the top. Because it's a plus 1, you have to put in a minus 1. It's always the opposite whenever you're plugging in something with x. And then there's a 2 in front of x, so you put in 2. So that's negative a half. Same thing, negative a half, cubed, minus 3, times negative a half, squared, minus 2, times negative a half, plus 9. So then you have negative 1 over 8, minus 3 over 4, plus 1, plus 9. So that's 10 minus, what's that, 7/8? Yep. Which then gives you 80 minus 80 over 8 minus 7 over 8, which is then 73 over 8. So factor theorem continues on the remainder theorem. If it's equal to 0 when you plug it in, then it's a factor. So part A, show that x plus 3 is a factor of q of x. Same thing as before, we plug in a negative 3. Remember, it's always the opposite. So 4 times negative 3 to the power 4 plus 4 so 3 to the power 3 plus 25 times negative 3 to the power 2 minus x, so minus 3 plus 6. 3 to the power 4 is 81. 81 times 4 is 324. No, it's not. Is it? Yeah, it is. Plus 4 to the power 3 is 27, but there's a negative, so it becomes a minus. 27 times 4, that's 8. Then 25 times 3 is squared, so 925. 225. And then plus 3 plus 6. It's okay, if you're really struggling, feel free to use a calculator. So checks out. Alright, part B. Determine the polynomial a cubed plus bx plus 2, which leaves a remainder of negative 9 when divided by x minus 1, and is exactly divisible by x plus 2. If it says exactly divisible, that means it's a factor. So, what you need to do is you need to plug in this information into factor or remainder theorem, or both really. So B, first one says put in 1, and then we'll get a remainder of 9. Then we have A plus B plus 2 equals negative 9. And then B of negative 2, when we plug it in, we should get a 0. So that's negative 8A minus 2 b plus 2 equals 0. We'll do some rearranging. And some simplifying. Alright, if you have a look here, I'm going to use substitution. And we have 4a minus a minus 11 equals to 1. So 12, 3a, 8 is equal to 4. Substitute it back in to find b. B is equal to negative 4 minus 11, which then gives us negative 15. Now, if you're told to factorize, there's two ways to factorize. First way is to use long division, which I'll show you in the first part. Second way is to use something known as short division. I'll show you the differences on here. Now, if you're not told what factors are there, you need to firstly find it. To do that, check the number at the end. Because it's a 6, we need to check what numbers go in. We have 1, 2, 3, and 6. And then you test numbers until you get the right answer. So let's try 1 first. So 1 minus 2 minus 5 is 6. So 7 minus 7 is 0. That's good. Now remember, the linear factor is always minus this one. So that's x minus 1 being the factor. Okay. So then long division, put it in. Oh no, this isn't very exciting. Feel free to skip ahead. Okay, make sure you always check your answer. If you know it's a factor, and you found out that it's a factor, it should always give you a 0 at the end here. So then we have x cubed minus 2x squared minus, what? Okay, my computer went funny. Minus 5x plus 6 equals to x minus 1, x squared minus x minus 6. Then we need to factorize the quadratic as well. You can always try and get linear factors if you can. So it's x minus 3, x plus 2. Alright, part B, we're going to use short division. Now, you have to think about the logic here. If you have a linear times a linear, it'll give you a quadratic. If you have a linear times a quadratic, it gives you a cubic. So, this is a cubic, which means if you have a quadratic factor and you multiply it with a linear, we will get the cubic. So, x plus 1 times 5 minus 2x is a quadratic factor, so long as we multiply together. So we already have this part here. So then we just need to times a linear factor which we don't know. So we're going to write ax plus b there. Now, if we expand this, it should give us the same as p of x here. So we're going to do that. So we have negative 2x squared minus 2x plus 5x plus 5. Simplify it down. And make sure you don't make any mistakes. That's the only problem with doing it this way. It's really easy to make mistakes. And then group up your terms again like we did before. Now, we can cheat a little. Assuming we've done everything right, we don't have to go term by term from the highest power to the lowest power to figure out what the terms are, because if you ever look at the first one and the last one, they only have one variable each, and they can only be equal to the front and the back of that polynomial. So that means negative 2a equals to negative 4, a is 2, and then 5b equals to 5, so b is 1. That means p of x is going to be x plus 1, 5 minus 2x, and then we substitute a and b in now, which is 2x plus 1. Alright, to solve equations, you will factorize and then solve like you normally do. So first things first, put it all to one side. Minus 17x minus 6. So same thing, check your 6. 1, 2, 3, and 6. So we'll test those numbers. So have to be 2, I think. So 3 times 8 plus 4 times 4 minus 34 minus 6. We have 24 plus 16 minus 34 minus 6. That's 0. So x minus 2. Then we divide by x minus 2. So 3x squared is about 3 minus 6x squared. Subtract them. Plus 10x. Plus 3. So 3x minus 6. Good. And then we factorize out the answer. So we have x minus 2. 3x plus 1. X plus 3 equals 0. So then x is equal to 2. Negative 1/3 and negative